time to heat up your frozen dinners, grab your TV tray, and settle in for another episode of the Plus Platoon, your podcast for all things Disney Plus, brought to you by Disney Plus fans. Watch along with us every week as we cover all the new, the old, the good, and the bad on Disney Plus. So put down that remote, don't touch that dial, and welcome your fabulous Plus Platoon host.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Derek, and I'm one of the members of the Plus Platoon. We are a Disney Plus fan podcast that gives honest, spoiler-filled reviews of movies and shows on Disney Plus. We look at new releases, coming attractions, and we'll even go back into the vault to revisit some of the classic Disney that's on the platform. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss an episode. I would like to bring in Kate. Kate, how's it going this evening?
It's going so I had to figure out how to unmute myself. It's going so good, my sweet brother Derek. How are you?
I'm doing good, sis. Doing very, very well. Let's also bring in Peter. Pete, how's it going?
Hey, Derek. Hey, Kate. How are you doing?
Thumbs up.
Happy early Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween part 1 on here. So... and we are a little bit thin tonight. Rebecca is on a week-long cruise, so nobody feels sorry for her. And Sam is a little bit under the weather. So
I feel sorry for her.
I do feel sorry. Yeah, we do feel sorry for her. So let's go on then, as soon as Kate is ready, to Disney Plus news.
Disney Plus news. Everybody, it is your favorite time of the week, which is Disney Plus news. Here's what we've got going on. Peter Jackson is releasing a docuseries featuring unseen Beatles called The Beatles Get Back. It features unseen footage from a recording session near the end of the band's time together. The show releases November 25th. So if you're a Beatles fan, or even if you're not a Beatles fan, look forward to that. Next up, we have a documentary, Adventures Through the Disney Archives, which will premiere November 19th. This previously was shown to D23 members and looks at many props and items from the Disney Pictures studios. So all of us big, especially Disney Pictures and Disney Parks fans, we look forward to that. Next up, we've got Hawkeye premiering November 24th. It will have 2 episodes available on day 1, following the pattern started by WandaVision, one of my favorites, I guess. This will allow it to end the week before Boba Fett premieres. And last but certainly not least, Diary of a Wimpy Kid released a trailer today. The movie will premiere on Disney Plus on December 3rd. At this point, it does not appear at all to be connected to the previous live action movies. So jury's still out on that one, but don't worry, we will bring you all of the information as it comes out. Derek, back to you.
Yeah, and it's completely computer animated, so it does not look like it connects at all to the live action ones that they did.
Is it weird at all that they're already remaking Diary of a Wimpy Kid? Wasn't that just like 10 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but maybe this one will be good.
I thought so too, Pete.
Yeah. Well, this week, as I said, we are doing our part 1 of our Halloween Spooktacular. Don't worry, people. We will be in costume next week. Spoiler alert. Yeah, we will be in costume next week. So,
costume.
We'll see. No, Pete, your hat doesn't count. So, guys, last week, Muppet Haunted Mansion came out, but we reviewed Black Widow instead, so we saved Muppet Haunted Mansion for this week. Pete, we're going to go to you. Was Muppet Haunted Mansion hauntingly good or doomed to fail?
Ooh. So, I'm going to precede this by saying I was raised by the Muppets. Like the original Muppet Show was, like the early days of Sesame Street were when I was a little kid. And then as I was in my, 8 to 12-year-old was when the Muppet Show was on. So I've always been a big fan of the Muppets. Pretty much have seen almost everything. There might be one or two movies in there that I don't think I've seen. Muppet Treasure Island, but all the other ones I've seen. The more recent Muppet things, I really liked when they renewed it with the movies, at least the first Muppets movie. The second one wasn't that great. Since then, the stuff they've done on TV, and particularly the Muppets Now, I guess it is, that they did on Disney Plus.
Yeah, it was Muppets Now.
Muppets, not that great. This was pretty good. I'm going to say it was hauntingly good. I legitimately laughed out loud like half a dozen times during it. There were some very funny moments. I really liked all the cameos, some really super obscure cameos. They had Kim Irvine, who's an Imagineer, whose mom worked on the original Haunted Mansion,
and is Madame Leota.
And is Madame Leota, and so
I missed that.
Yeah, she was just there cleaning Miss Piggy's. Like
Got
that was like a super deep cut that like nobody would get. But even so, you had like Alfonso Rivera showed up, and you had I always forget his Danny Trejo just showed up for. I mean, a lot of these cameos were just very, very short, but well done. I thought the show was very funny. The whole part about like learning a lesson or whatever that seemed kind of forced. But I wouldn't say it was amazing, but I would say it's probably the best Muppet thing I've seen since the Muppets, the first of the new Muppet movies. And so I really enjoyed it. I was glad I watched it, and I'm glad to see the Muppets are, being used in some way. The other thing is, if you're a Haunted Mansion fan, there was a lot of like inside Haunted Mansion jokes as well. So, I think if you're a fan of both the Muppets and the Haunted Mansion, it's kind of can't miss. So what about you, Derek? What did you think?
Yeah, definitely a good time. And I mean, if you are a deep fan, there are so many Haunted Mansion jokes in there, almost to the point of ad nauseum, to the point of, if you really know the ride, it's one of those, okay, we get it, you're going after the ride stuff.
Right.
Especially at the beginning. But I really thought it worked well. I'm also a fan of the old Muppet shows and some of the classic, I liked Muppet Treasure Island. I love Muppet Christmas Carol. This was the best thing I've seen them do since those. So to me, it really worked. I didn't mind like some of the references to it, them keep referencing to the fact that it was a special. This is my only line in this, and why aren't they using more of us? Budget. Well, but
right. But that's Muppety.
That is Muppety, but that's the only thing to me that got a little much.
Mm-hmm.
And I will agree that the old Gonzo Muppet did not work for me at all. It was creepy, and they tried too hard, like with the nose shriveling up. It didn't work. I was really worried about some of the cameos. That's all they introduced at the beginning, so I was afraid that they had to sell all the cameos to make it be good. I would argue you didn't even really need the cameos. The story was strong enough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the John Stamos one was funny, especially like, with the scares and the yells and the animatronics. I loved that line from Pepe. So, I don't know. I enjoyed it. Kate, what'd you think?
I thought it was hilarious. I have grown up a Muppets fan. I have all of the Muppet Show on DVD that I watched growing up as a kid. Literally grew up with Muppets Christmas Carol and Muppets Treasure Island. Just brilliant. And it's funny because I'm going to throw myself under the bus on this, that when I was watching this, and mind you, I live in Orlando. I have done Haunted Mansion, the ride Haunted Mansion, more times than I even know how to count. at one point they broke into song. I don't remember. It was toward the beginning. Excuse me. And I remember going, why does it always have to be a musical? Why do they break into song? Like,
it was the song in the graveyard, probably.
Is that what it was?
That's the one that didn't work for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember sitting, because I actually was watching this in a break room at SeaWorld, which is hilarious. And I had a friend who was sitting in the break room with me, so we were watching it together. And I remember just saying, why does it always have to be a musical? And they looked at me and they were like, Kate, Muppets is always a musical.
It's the Muppets.
It's always a musical. And that was when I was literally like, oh my God, you're right. Like, Muppets is always a musical. So I loved it. I loved Pepe was perfect. Pepe, like, because at first I was like, why isn't it Rizzo the Rat? Like, it's usually Gonzo and Rizzo. Like, why isn't it Rizzo? No, Pepe was perfect for that role. How they had Sam eat, like, it was so well thought out with what Muppets were, what characters, brilliantly well thought out. The
Stellar
old
Waldorf.
Thank you.
In
Those
the
gentlemen
buggy.
where they were, I mean, chef's kiss, like, just so perfect. So I loved it. In my opinion, it does 100% follow the ride.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much from beginning to end. We're gonna get to the negatives, right?
No, do it now.
Oh, okay, do it now.
Yeah.
So you know what? I don't even know if this is a negative, because I don't know if this person is still alive. The person who did the voice of the ride in the room that stretches,
Paul Frees is not still around.
He is not still around. Okay, that was going to be my guess, because that was one thing that when my friend and I were watching in the break room, it was like, I don't think that's not the original voice.
No.
And I was like, yeah, I don't think it is either. But that makes sense now if he has since passed. But having Taraji P. Henson, having Darren Criss, although Darren Criss's part was very thrown away. Yeah, but like I personally wonder if some of these celebrities, like when they get the call to be like, hey, you're going to be in this Muppet special, if they're like, oh my God, sign me up, or if they're like, oh my God, do I have to?
No, I think it's
the first one.
I think it's the
You
first one
do?
generally. Yeah.
I hope so, because how it's so good how they interact with the Muppets, and how Derek, was it you who brought up Gonzo, the old Gonzo? Was that you just now?
Yeah.
That did not read to me.
No.
That did not work for me. That was the one part that I was like,
that's his greatest fear, really, and that's how they do it.
Yeah, as I said, that whole shoehorning that little bit in, was
that part
unnecessary to me, to like try to have like a moral, or I don't know what it was, but yeah, I wish they'd done that away. But I have to say, like, Taraji P. Henson was great. She acted at just the right level for being in a Muppet thing.
Yep.
Like you gotta like, you can't be like, Law and Order acting. This has got to be Muppet acting.
Right.
And she did that really well.
And Sandy says Jacob and Evie loved it. She said the cameos were great. She loved how it was focused around Gonzo. This is at least number 2 or number 3 that they have focused around Gonzo lately. Like, I mean, there was the one all about Gonzo trying to find his family. I don't remember which one that was.
Muppets from Space, I think.
Is that Muppets from Space? Sure. Amy did love the cameo line, Bunsen and Beaker being classic Muppets. It's one of those, why aren't they me? Oh, they're not using us because of budget. Yeah. So Gina says she hasn't watched it. Loved Muppets Christmas Carol and Haunted Mansion. Amy says second Muppet movie to explores Gonzo's psyche. Ready for a deep dive into Beaker or Scooter or someone. Yeah. The other part that I thought was a little forced was the whole review in the middle with Kermit as the MC and that kind of set. Yes, it brought Fozzie in. Fozzie is a Hatbox Ghost,
I know.
which I want to know when we're actually getting that in Magic Kingdom, but
Don't hold your breath.
so yeah, I know.
What's the name of the Muppet that plays the piano?
Rolf.
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 Hey,
thank
hey,
you.
it's a gig.
That's right.
Yeah. So
I'm going to say a couple things that I didn't like, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
It was super duper green screened. Like I didn't feel like there were any actual sets, or very, very few actual sets. And I found that and it was pretty obvious. So I that annoyed me a little bit. It didn't really hurt the humor or anything, but it just was like, geez, can they actually interact with something? It was other than a couple of props, it was just everything was just, the background. And I would also say the songs were like, none of the songs were great. Some were a little better than others, but
and the best song we heard one chorus from, and that's it. Grim Grinning Ghosts.
Oh yeah.
We only heard the one chorus. So
none of the songs, every song that played, and mind you, I'm a musical person, and every song that played, I was like,
yeah.
I mean, this is fine, but it's not like I can still sing you It Feels Like Christmas from the Muppets Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Like, I can still sing you the song that they sing on the boat in Muppets Treasure Island. So, but none of these songs were.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Ryan suggests Disney Nightmare at Disneyland and Muppets and WDW. That would cause too much cross-pollination, I think, for a Muppet overlay. That doesn't work.
And unfortunately, Disney World generally is not going to do overlays because they got to shut the rides down, and because they're so much more tourist dependent, they don't like shutting the rides down for overlays unless it's like Jingle Cruise that they can throw it up in a night.
Yeah.
But
Dan says he's a Muppets fan and thought it was great. So yeah. Kate, Pixie Dust rating.
I'd give this a solid 3.
Okay.
I'd give this a solid, maybe, I'd give it, I'm just going to stick with 3. It was great. It wasn't insanely memorable. But it had its moments, and I'm not mad about it. So I'm going to give it a 3. It's no Sandlot, but it's no Jane.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to give it a 3.5. I not super duper, but it's something that I might revisit next Halloween. I could see watching it again. So I'd give it about a 3.5. It wasn't fantastic, but it was definitely, as I said, the certainly the best Muppet thing in the last 5 years, certainly, and way, way better than Muppets Now, which was
first best
horrible.
Muppets thing in the last 20 years. But
yeah, well, I still like the first movie, so a lot.
To me, it's a 4. This is going in my Halloween rotation.
Wow.
I really enjoyed this. Now it may be one of those I watched once and I checked the box, but this was something completely brainless. I did not have to think about it. I could laugh. I could enjoy it. It was great. I'm giving it a 4. So, okay. Next, we dove back into the vault to pull out Ichabod Crane from The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. For those of you who don't know, it retells the story of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, narrated by Bing Crosby, thus all the singing. So I believe, Kate, I'm going to have you start this one off.
Yeah.
Is it a pumpkin smashing good time?
So I am going to throw myself under the bus on this one and let you know that I have watched this before. I watched it many, many times years ago. I did not rewatch this week, but I will say I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it many years ago. I enjoyed it as a kid. It did scare me a little bit, but also Don Knotts movies scared me as a little kid. Like the Ghost of Mr. Chicken freaked me out. So I was a big old pansy. I always loved the animation. I loved how it flowed. I related a lot to Ichabod and his kind of like goofiness, I guess. His mannerisms just resonated with me. I liked it. So, Pete, what about you?
So, as a kid watching this on Wonderful World of Disney was still on TV when I was a kid. Well, Disney was not alive, but they would only show like the last 5 minutes of it, the actual Ichabod going through the woods and then being chased. And that part of it is excellent. And much like Kate, this thing like scared the bejesus out of me when I was a child. So I definitely remember, not so much that I wouldn't watch it, but it would like, give me like nightmares and that type of thing. But when you watch the whole 25-30 minute segment, it's kind of, the first portion of it's pretty boring, really. There's a lot of setup for the relationship between Brom Bones and Katrina and Ichabod. There's this kind of these two people wooing this one girl, and it all gets sets up at the end that Brom is trying to scare Ichabod, and that sets him up. But you would think at the end it would be like, oh, Brom ended up dressing up as the Headless Horseman, but they never say that. They just they say it was actually a Headless Horseman, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. So love the last 5-10 minutes. Even if you take the sequence where Brahms singing the song about the Headless Horseman, if you include that in, that 10 minutes is good. Leading up to it, it's pretty boring. So it's I don't know. Can you split it in half and say watch the last 10 minutes? It's great. That's my opinion. The last 10 minutes is a smashing good time. What about you, Derek?
Okay. I'm coming to it from an English teaching point of view that I teach Legend of Sleepy Hollow to my English kids. It's actually fairly faithful to the original story. The original story is all the setup to Brom telling the story about the Headless Horseman, and then him getting chased out of town, and the pumpkin smashed is all they find, and Katrina was using Ichabod to make Brom jealous, and Ichabod does end up in another town somewhere. So it is very faithful to the original. I enjoy Bing Crosby's movies. White Christmas is probably my favorite Christmas movie. So, and I grew up watching this. This is on I need to watch this at least once every Halloween, just because this is probably one of, full disclosure, I'm not a huge Halloween fan. Halloween is not my main holiday. This is on the list of me for, if it's Halloween time, okay, I need to watch this at some point. Now, the Adventures of Mr. Toad can definitely be skipped from the first 30 minutes of this special. The ride that kind of follows it is the only good thing that ever came out of Wind of the Willows for Disney. So,
yeah.
And
the Mr. Toad section is unbearable, quite honestly.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Because it's not Bing Crosby. It's done straight. So it was originally supposed to be a full feature, and they just realized, no, we can't do that. This was a lot in the same time as Saludos Amigos, Make Mine Music. This was the compilation movies that Disney did pre-Cinderella. So
right. This was the last pre-Cinderella. There were like 6 or 7 of them where they were a bunch of shorts compiled together.
Yeah. So this was the last one before Cinderella. So the good people are working on Cinderella and Peter Pan. So those are the next 2 main movies that Disney does. So Sandy says it's a Halloween season must, along with Hocus Pocus. Hold that thought, Sandy. Gina says she loves the story, especially the Headless Horseman. Vicky says it's a classic. Gina's in agreement, 100% get rid of Wind of the Willows. Jake says, love the Legend of Sleepy Hollow, Halloween classic in his opinion. Would love to visit Sleepy Hollow in person one day during the fall. It's not actually a place. It's just an random upstate New York generic town. Jake, I would be interested to hear your opinion on Muppet Haunted Mansion, though.
Hi, Jake.
Yeah. For those of you not following along, Jake has a love-hate relationship with the Muppets. He loves to hate them. Okay. So we're going to go around the horn again. Kate, Pixie Dust rating for just Ichabod Crane.
Just Ichabod Crane. 2.5. It's good. Doesn't hold my attention. I mean, both of you kind of nailed it. It's fine. It got me ready for at Walt Disney World when they actually do Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween parties, and they have the Booty You parade. The Headless Horseman leads that parade and runs down Main Street, which is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. That's incredible, which comes from this. So, but I mean, I don't know if I'd watch it every year. So 2.5. Pete, what about you?
Yeah. Again, the last 5 minutes I would probably give a 5, but the entire thing probably a 2.5. It's watchable. I don't need to watch it every year. I did rewatch it for this, and I've seen it several times, so not bad, but yeah, mostly for the last bit is great.
Okay. That's fair.
How about you, Derek?
I'm going to give it probably a 3.5.
Wow, really?
Again, I'm coming to this from a nostalgia point of view. I've watched this since I was a kid. So to me, if you've watched this growing up, I know one of my son's classmates, his mother, favorite Halloween show. So it's what you were raised with. I was raised watching this every fall. So to me, it's I put it at 3.5. Okay?
Yeah, and put up Vicky's comment. This is correct.
Tarrytown. Yeah.
Tarrytown, New York is the actual place. They mention it at the very beginning of the short.
It's near
They mentioned Tarrytown.
Yeah.
I have relatives in Tarrytown, so I've actually been there. It's not all that spooky.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, speaking of things that would be incredibly terrifying to me, What If wrapped up this week. So Kate's going to drop down, and I'm going to pull in our producer, Gina, because she has watched all the episodes. And I'm going to step aside for a minute because I have not watched all the episodes. And Gina and Pete are going to give us what did you guys think of What If?
As a series? Okay. So I didn't mention this off. I mentioned this off screen, but for me, I really enjoyed it after watching the last episode. I feel like if you watch all the episodes, some are better than others standalone, but at the end, it ties everything together, and the series is actually really well done. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Gina. Exactly the same. Going through the episodes, some I really disliked, some I liked okay. The seventh one with Thor when he's like a party animal.
Boy, I loved spoiled Thor.
Yeah, that episode. If you're gonna watch like one episode of the show, that one is worth watching, and you can watch it standalone. I mean, you kind of got to know history of Thor, but
Yeah.
At the end, they pull a bunch of stuff from all the other episodes in the last episode, without getting too much into spoilers, to defeat the final villain in that last episode. The last two episodes are kind of a two-parter.
Yeah, they tie together.
But they really pull everybody into that last episode, and if you watch that without having watched the other episode, it would make no sense at all.
Right.
So it's really a series that you have to get through all the episodes to get to the last one. And I did enjoy the last one. I wouldn't rate the series really high, but if you're a really deep Marvel fan, I think it's worth a watch. I mean, the episodes are only
Definitely.
half hour each.
Definitely. And then especially the Agent Carter, the first one, the Agent Carter one is really bad. But now that I've seen the whole thing, and now I really like Agent Carter as Captain Carter. So that's something that she evolves through the series. And so the last episode, I didn't hate it as much as I did at the first episode. So that's something.
Yeah. And the way they bring, again, we don't really do spoilers here. So I guess the way they bring some characters back at the end, including Captain Carter, she's way better in
she's
in that
way better at
last,
the end. Who knew? Yeah, I didn't.
She's
hate
way
her.
better at the end. So, but it's really a case. As I said, it's really a case of you have to be a big Marvel fan, and you have to make it through all the episodes and to get to the end.
And then just real quick, if I was to rate this, it would be like a 2.3. It's a 2.3 because you have to really slog through. So
yeah, it's 2.5, 3 for me for the whole series.
Yeah.
I said a couple of good episodes. If you're just gonna randomly watch one episode, watch the What If Thor Was an Only Child, I think it's called.
Best. Yeah.
That is far and away the best single episode.
Yes.
But overall, I would probably say like 2.5. And that's if you like Marvel. Derek would probably give it about a 1.
A negative. It could be a negative integer at this point.
But now, didn't I see that they actually have zombie Captain America at Disneyland?
Do they?
For that.
Oh, for like the Halloween party?
Yes.
Yeah.
Boogie Bash. I'm super excited.
Am I correct? This is now canon.
Yes.
This is considered canon.
It is considered canon, yeah.
It's because of the Watcher as the character. I really believe it's more of the Watcher and the multiverse more than these stories are going to be necessary.
I don't think any of the any of the stories will come into live action at all.
No, I don't think the stories are necessary. You just need to know about the Watcher and you need to know about that.
So, but hang on though. Does this mean that this needs to be added into my following the chronological?
Probably.
Oh, so I need to update. I need to see if the
and
website
does she need to watch each episode in a specific spot?
Correct.
No, you can watch it at the end.
Yeah, I would only watch it if you've already watched
everything,
all the movies up to this
and
point.
the series. Yeah.
Okay. Well, and now because we have the multiverse officially, this does work. So, okay, Gina.
Yeah.
Pete, thanks for that. Okay, guys, the most controversial question of the night. What is the best Halloween treat?
Okay.
Gina, I'm going to start with you. Gina, what's the best Halloween treat?
So the best Halloween treat, not going trick-or-treating, but just having it at my house, has got to be caramel apple. Caramel apples are the fall, quintessential fall treat for me.
Okay, caramel apples or candy apples?
Caramel.
Okay.
Caramel.
So not the hard shell.
Not the red, the brown. And then you can dip sugar, you can put nuts on it, you can have a bunch of different toppings.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's not at all where my head went. So great job, Gina. My head, listen, there are two things that I will die on the hill. There are a lot of things I'll die on the hill of, but that Reese's pumpkins are some of the best. Reese's pumpkins and Reese's Easter eggs. I don't know what it is about the ratio of the Reese's to the chocolate. It's just great. Those. And you know what? I don't even care. Judge me if you want to. I love Tootsie Rolls. I love Tootsie Rolls. You can go ahead and hate on Tootsie Rolls and call them your grandma's candy. I'll eat all of them. Just pass them on over.
Oh,
that's
perfect.
fine. So I love Tootsie Rolls, and I'm not sorry. And those are mine. Derek, what about you?
To me, growing up, it was always the little Hershey's miniatures, specifically the dark chocolate ones.
Oh.
The special dark chocolate. That's about the only thing bitter I can stand. But now, to me, that's Halloween treat. And Kate, I would disagree with you on the Reese's because there's not enough chocolate to peanut butter. The cups have more chocolate to peanut butter.
No, those peanut butter pumpkins are
what?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hold on. Have you had?
Wrong, so
Have you
No.
had a Reese's Easter egg? Like the
Yes.
Easter egg Reese's?
Yeah.
Those are the
Too much
best.
peanut butter. Too much peanut butter.
Oh,
All
Yeah.
right. I don't have the
I will
ability
say-
to drop Derek down, but if I did, it would be
I
happening
will say,
right now.
best fall treat, best fall dessert, apple crisp.
oh, for like baked. I'm just thinking
For baked.
you're going around. You
around,
get
yeah,
home
okay.
at yeah.
Then
You
to
get home
me,
at night.
It's either those or Three Musketeers.
Okay, put in
Just
my
because
bag.
it's a heavy
I'm a
chocolate.
Twix. Put in my bag.
So-
I'm a
Oh,
Twix.
Twix.
Yeah, put in my
Okay.
bag. Twix. Yeah.
Pete, gonna break
me
you
a
off
break.
a Pete, huh?
Kit Kat.
Give me a break.
No, Twix. I really like a candy with a cookie in it. So Twix, Kit
Okay.
Kat.
Nice.
But I love for Halloween. I mean, this is a full size Kit Kat that I'm holding up here, or wrapper. You can see I already ate it. But the little mini Kit Kats are just the right bite of
Yeah,
chocolate
bite.
to me.
Yeah, I do like the cookie.
So I'm
You can have all of them.
Ryan said Twix and
Oh.
Gina also
Ryan
did.
says
So
Twix
I'm
and Reese's. Steve
I'm
says
good with
Twix,
that too,
Reese's
but-
peanut butter cups or the
The
old
old-
Butterfingers.
I agree with that too. The old Butterfinger, so good.
But Amy, click on Amy's. Amy,
Peppermint
you're
patties,
so
chicken
right.
pumpkins. Yes.
The peppermint patties.
See, those to me are
Mhm.
Christmas.
yeah.
Oh,
Those
yeah,
to
I
me are
love that.
Christmas.
Ryan says
feel
Reese's
that.
pumpkins are literally the greatest. Fight for your hill, Kate. Anthony says the Dove chocolate snacks from Boo Bash
Ooh.
this year didn't have any Dove chocolate. That's too bougie for us here in the Midwest.
Wow,
So
you
funny.
mean for $200 you actually get good chocolate now?
So for ours, we get goldfish crackers and carrots. We get healthy stuff for Californians.
Oh, well, it's California.
you can
Yes.
get
Okay,
you can
guys.
get both. You get the candy and the healthy.
They don't
Guys, one
hand
more-
out avocados.
One more time around the horn. Pete, starting with you. Worst Halloween treat. Worst thing to get trick or treating.
Oh, easy candy corn.
No, no.
I like candy corn. I like
No,
those
where's
pumpkins.
the drop down?
Those disgusting pumpkins. I love those too.
You
There you
never
go.
take the candy corns and put them on your canines and pretend like you're a vampire?
And eat the different colors separately.
No, I'll eat candy corn,
It's
but
just the
like
worst.
handing out candy corn, that's like okay, maybe like sweet tarts is worse for handing out, but
That's fair.
it's candy corn is not a handout to the kids.
Okay.
No.
I'll
Gina?
agree with that.
Okay, mine's Bitto honey. I would never give a child Bitto
Oh.
honey. That is the
Yeah,
worst.
you win.
That is
Yeah.
the worst.
Yeah.
I would get those Bitto honeys and I would take the box and I would take the ones and just throw them in the trash. They're not even worth it.
Kate.
I'll agree with that. And so when I said Tootsie Rolls, I probably should have been more specific and said the original brown
Yes.
Tootsie Rolls that are
I know where you're
chocolate.
going.
Don't come
I know
at
where
me
you're
with these
going.
strawberry
Those are
Tootsie Rolls.
disgusting. Yeah.
Don't come at me with these like lime flavored Tootsie Rolls. And I'm gonna make some enemies right now, and I know it's gonna happen.
Oh, we got a cat.
I love peanuts and I love chocolate. I do not like peanuts in chocolate.
So
So
peanut
don't
M&Ms
come
are
at me
no.
with Snickers.
No Snickers.
Oh, Snickers.
I love peanuts and I love chocolate. Don't put them together.
You like Reese's? That's peanut and chocolate together.
But
Yeah,
it's
it is
not
peanut and chocolate.
peanuts. It's
It's
peanut
Oh.
butter.
different, Pete.
Peanut butter.
It's different.
It's the texture thing.
So Kate, no peanut M&Ms. No peanut M&Ms for Kate.
Only if they're frozen. I like
Oh,
frozen
yeah.
M&Ms.
In related news, Kate's going to see her dentist after Halloween. For me, the one I always hated. It's hard to top Gina's bit of honey because I don't even think they give those out anymore.
That's
But if you
torture.
ever got like an apple or an orange, I would actually get those. And poorly made homemade popcorn balls
Oh, those are disgusting. Yeah, I agree on that one.
People
because
give that out?
they used to when
Back in the
when we
80s.
were back in my day. Yeah, would have
My kid.
homemade treats.
I never
of
got a popcorn ball, so
Oh, they're so gross.
homemade
Oh yeah,
popcorn balls, and think a Rice Krispies treat with less flavor.
no flavor. It tasted like
No
nothing.
flavor. It tastes like a plain rice
Yeah.
cake.
It tasted like a rice cake. Like
My
nothing.
mama would have looked at that and been like, well, that's going in the trash.
Yeah,
'cause
it went
this
right in the
clearly
garbage with
has
a bit of
drugs
honey.
in it,
And
so-
those strawberry Tootsie Rolls, it all went together.
that to me would be a great treat to hand out. Would be the little Rice Krispie treats, though.
Oh Oh,
Because
yeah, those are good.
everybody does
Those
chocolate.
were great. Those
Yeah,
were
those are
great.
Everybody does
Especially the ones that
chocolate. So
had-
if you handed those out, it'd be something different.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Especially the ones that have the chocolate swirl over the top of it.
Yeah.
Those were good.
Because
Oh.
they make like the little ones now.
You know what you shouldn't be? The person who gives out raisins.
Oh, yeah.
Don't be that person.
Nah,
No.
Don't be that person.
I didn't mind raisins. So
Ew.
How about the
didn't want
dentist in the
anything.
neighborhood that gives out toothbrushes and floss?
I was okay with that. I was okay with the toothbrush and the floss guy. I was okay with that.
because the guy next to him usually gave full-size candy bars.
Yes, you got the
You're
full
right.
size and then you got the. Yep.
to make up for it.
My wife's doing full-size candy bars this year, so send your kids over.
Smart
Ooh.
woman.
Ryan says dots,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, those get
bad,
so
bad gumdrops. Yeah.
Those are-
Jake says he loves candy corn. Not a fan of Skittles. Okay,
Oh,
I like original Skittles,
Yeah.
and that's the Skittles where the green is actually lime,
yes, not
an
apple.
apple.
Yeah, I agree.
And the weird Skittles are a no for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
The
agree.
He
weird.
says
yeah.
no name bubble gum with
Oh.
no flavor.
That was the double
And see-
bubble.
Oh no, see double bubble you can chew for about 30 seconds.
Oh, it does
and-
have
and-
flavor.
yeah,
for 30
and then, it's,
seconds.
and then it's done. Yeah. Ryan says penny. He got pennies. If you're two, maybe you're
Here's the
excited.
thing.
It's a lot of money.
It's that old lady who runs out of candy. You feel kind of bad. She gets her little bank out and she gives you the coins.
And instead of shutting off her lights,
Yeah.
Amy says if you're getting a bit of honey, someone stocked up years ago and still giving them out from when they were kids.
From my childhood, they didn't throw it away.
Yeah. And Vicky says Boo Bash has little Rice Krispie treats.
Yeah, I'll be there in a
So-
week.
Okay.
Still not spending the $200.
Yeah, no.
I did. I was
Oh,
a
you
sucker.
can't. That's right. You can't. It's sold out.
Disneyland wasn't open, so I pulled the trigger because Disneyland wasn't. There was no passes yet.
Okay. So next week, we are going into part 2 of our Halloween, going back into the vault to watch Hocus Pocus. This will be a movie. This is a movie that people either love or get really annoyed by, in my experience. So, going to be interesting to see. We should have most of the platoon back again next week with Rebecca and Sam. So, going to be watching Hocus Pocus. And as I said, we will be in costume next week.
Yay!
So,
Hocus Pocus themed costume or any costume?
no, just costume.
Okay.
Just costume. Okay. Because other than dressing up as Thackeray Binks or a early 1990s teenage boy, there's no guys. So,
The dad. There's like
yeah,
a dad.
yeah, nah,
There's a dad from the Halloween party.
no thanks. So, yeah, that's next week. Guys, I know we've had some great people, some new people watching us tonight that we've loved to see on here. If you guys have ideas for what you want to see us do, email us at plusplatoon@gmail.com. Love suggestions. Love people to come on and talk about their suggestions. You want to be on the show? Give us a suggestion. We'll have you on to discuss it. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. At Plus Platoon. Yeah. Those of you watching us later on YouTube. Yeah. We're also on every major podcasting service. Episodes lately been a little late getting out, but they are coming out. Please go on to Apple Podcasts and give us those 5-star reviews so more people can listen to us and see us. And with that, everyone, next week we are doing Pocus Pocus, and we will say good night, everyone. So bye.
Good night.
Thanks for watching this week's episode of the Plus Platoon. Be sure to subscribe to the Plus Platoon podcast to keep getting great content each week. Then head over to Apple Podcast and leave those 5-star reviews as they help make the Plus Platoon visible to even more Disney Plus fans. Also, go to YouTube and like and subscribe to the Plus Platoon channel, where you can watch all future episodes live. If you have a question for the Plus Platoon, please send us an email to plusplatoon@gmail.com or connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram @plusplatoon.
The Plus Platoon is a Disney Plus fan podcast and is not affiliated with the Walt Disney Company or the Disney Plus streaming service. All opinions expressed on the show are solely those of the individual hosts and in no way reflect the views of the Walt Disney Company.
Thanks for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for next week's episode because the Plus Platoon is to be continued.